So I feel like at the moment the masculine is going through a massive transformation, masculine energies. And as I say, the masculine energies are within each and every single one of us, and also, as you can see on the planet around us, it's very much driven by a masculine energy, as within, so without. But at the moment, I actually feel like the masculine is really beginning to see that it's like he's come out of the dark night of the soul, or he is emerging from that into a greater acceptance and wonder of all that is. I have this beautiful Ace of Fire here, which is a very beautiful card of energy and aliveness, and it's a very powerful energy, and I'm feeling a lot of power at the moment coming from the emerging divine masculine. It's like he's gone through a lot of ego death and is emerging through his heart center. He's really beginning to feel a sense of connectedness now with his heart and his mind. And in doing that, he is starting to balance out the energies of the masculine and feminine. As here you can see the divine masculine, the divine feminine. So this is about masculine energy merging with the divine feminine energy within himself, so that he can actually become the emperor, which is, of course, the ultimate divine masculine. And he represents all four kings of the tarot. So he's really beginning to find a sense of the divinity within him now that he is starting to access his divine feminine that has long been hidden away. And now that he's accessing his feeling center, he's really beginning to merge. It's a beginning of a merging of the divine masculine, divine feminine energies within. And I know that in the last however many weeks that the divine feminine in herself has been merging with the divine masculine. So we're really beginning to come home now, come home to God, come home to the Christos Sophianic energies, which are the pure God, goddess, in the form of the sun and of course the earth, which is the mother, and the sun being the father. So he's really beginning to find a sense of sovereignty within himself as he begins to merge those two energies within. So we're really starting to see a balance. It's a really wonderful thing to see. However, the challenge is, of course, not to be distracted by other things that can sometimes still distract the divine masculine that have to do with that 3D world. So it's like he hasn't completely pulled away from that 3D world. So, you know, sometimes that masculine energy is very powerful. But if he is at all distracted by anything that the devil or the darkness or the, however you want to see this, or the 3D world, the materialistic world is going to throw at him, it's like now what's his challenge is to pass the test of not being distracted by enticing 3D materialistic objects or desires. But in his environment, he's really beginning to see and feel his own intuition, and beginning, because he's now accessing his solar plexus here, he's now beginning to see and feel his intuition more and beginning to trust it more than he ever has before. So, you know, he's really starting to see too how the divine feminine has always been able to access these centers, and now, and although he's always wondered at it and wondered how he could actually access that, he really was has been in a state of confusion as to how to access that, believing that through going through intellectual pursuits and the mind you know, not being able to really to feel very deeply that his intuition must come from that solar plexus, from the heart center, from those emotions and those feelings that he has within each and every single cell, that it is not just an intellectual exercise. So that's in his environment. He's beginning to see that. And he's beginning to also see that how the feminine has actually been able to do it, and it's like an aha moment for him. In his advice here, we have the Queen of Fire, which is upside down. So I would actually say his advice would be, once again, there are going to be tests placed in the Divine Masculine's way, as I've said, with temptation, with the temptation of enticing, you know, things and addictions of the past. And this is basically saying that, you know, this is a test, and it's whether he passed the test or not. So this is in his advice, and his advice is, you know, don't go back to the old addictive ways, and don't go back to that which is only going to bring you despair, hopelessness, and will not lead you to God, to source within or without. And then we also have here, I'm going to do, because we have the crone upside down, so there's a little bit of, you know, he's doing an amazing job, the masculine, but I do have the crone upside down as an outcome card, which I'm not understanding, because really he's doing so well. So I'm going to do a because that is basically him not accessing his own wisdom, and or maybe it's about him trusting his own wisdom, but we shall see. I'm just getting a call to get another card from in there, and I will. The Maiden. Okay, so he's really starting to see, he's in the beginning stages of finding his own wisdom, and understanding, of course, that it does come through those feeling centers and the connection of both mind and body. And so he's at the beginning stages of that and understanding his wisdom. I feel like the masculine must actually do this journey on his own. I feel that the masculine, you know, I mean, we all have these energies within us, and I know that I have felt quite, you know, the need to be alone a lot of the time. But if you are a divine masculine who embodies a lot of the divine masculine energies, what this is saying is that you're going to need some time to integrate the wisdom, and also to the other energies like the masculine, the feminine energies, the balancing energies, and the emotional energies that are coming through. Plus you also have to go through the tests that are going to come at you. So he's in the beginning stages of accessing his divine wisdom that is within each and every cell of his body. And so to do that, I feel like he will need to spend quite some time on his own with no distractions, because it is the distractions that will lead him astray if he's not at all balanced. I'm just going to get these other cards that I've been asked to get. So there is the Fairies Oracle by Brian Froud. This is an amazing deck of beautiful oracle cards. This is the beautiful book. Isn't it lovely? Gorgeous, gorgeous book. Anyway, I digress. Anyway, so I've been asked to actually access one of these cards for the Divine Masculine. Himself. Now, I'll read out of the book, but pretty much I think that's fairly self-explanatory. He's really beginning to find himself through, you know, accessing his his intuitive sense of who he is and the truth of who he is, which is in every cell in his body. But I will read this from the book. 17. Okay. Himself. When himself appears in a card spread, he not only indicates that a great amount of energy is present in the reading, but he also strongly energizes the fairy cards around him. Well, there are no other fairy cards. This card in a reading can indicate great vitality, which is the amazing divine masculine energy that I picked up from the Ace of Wands. And also, so this card in a reading can indicate great vitality, victory or triumph, confidence and power. There is leadership, an ability to command, steadfastness and integrity, wild power held and channeled for the good of all by will. So the divine masculine is really beginning to see how he is connected to all that is, and that through his divinity, he has so much to give to the world, and to the energies that he aspires to be, to integrate into his life. So he's really beginning. Anyway, I'll keep going. Himself speaks of protection, either of the querent or of someone the querent owes protection to, like a child or an elder. Acceptance of paternal responsibility is important, as are deep and committed relationships. He is the preserver of the natural world and its balances. Shamanic power may be indicated here, as well as a potential for powerful spiritual healing. This card may also speak of erotic energy, passion, and potent creativity, which was in the card of the Ace of Wands, which I saw before. Very much all of the above. Known as himself, this seed is guardian of both the hunter and the hunted, and finds no conflict in that because he understands the many necessary balances of nature, the living bond between all life. Himself is the breath that moves, the atom that dances, and his magic is in pure being, living, loving. Engus, journeyman, and the master maker have the magic of doing, of the creation of things. The bright mother has the magic of manifesting and nurturing, but himself, he has the magic of procreation, of dancing the spark of life into being. His presence brings magic and life into a world where it is shaped and given form by Earth Mother. He dances as the bright mother gives us birth, powering us into the world. He is the great Father. At the end of our lives, he is the one who dances the great dance of life and death,